round 3 of Dyslexic Nick's Alphabet of Awesome Movies, Part 2. Today's day, the word comes from the letter C, and that's brought to us by the infamous Ill Will. And yeah, see the background here? Scenes full of cemeteries. Cemetery scenes throughout. But I'm not going this way. I'm not even going horror. Nope. So what you see before you, bye-bye, is not the real pick. Catch you in a bit for what is. Okay. This is what I'm going with. This is the background. Some of these things I don't really consider horror at all, and I guess you won't either. They're more superhero stuff. But anyways, the infamous Ill Will had voiced to Dyslexic Nick how he wanted to see what the non-horror people would choose. So, pushing myself, since my main focus usually is on horror, I decided, you know what, I'm going to forego that, push it aside. But I had to show, some of a horror background to say, yep, could have gone that direction, but I decided not to. Decided to go this direction, and it was interesting. Here we have Spawn, which, hey, a lot of graveyard scenes, a lot of cemetery scenes there. This one I had the double disc. It's the two things where I got one disc that's Red Dawn, the other one's Navy SEALs. But I picked it for Navy SEALs for the funeral scene when Charlie Sheen's character screws up and kills, or gets the guy Chief. He gets killed during an operation, so when they come back home, they have the funeral for him. So that's inside a cemetery. Oh, who could forget the good, the bad, and the uglies? The ending scene. Well, it's not the exact ending, but near the end, when they're in the cemetery, and he has the name of the grave of the grave marker or the person on a stone, and it's there, and they're having a three-way shootout, or it's going to be a quick draw. Oh God, that's awesome! And of course, there's the incident at the cemetery between Arnold Schwarzenegger and I can't remember her name right now, but the other one, I can't remember what the hell their numbers were for the robots, but the two robots going at each other at the cemetery or at the graveyard. And we have, this is Spinal Tap. Now this one's a stretch because Spinal Tap visits Graceland, Elvis Presley and his gravesite. Well, at the gravesite there's 4 graves. Okay, so it's a it's a private cemetery, and it's just little things. Chances are now it wasn't really. They didn't really go to the real place, but it's just funny if they did. I don't know. I've never been there, but they're there and they're trying to sing "Heartbreak Hotel." I think it was "Heartbreak Hotel" or you know what? Now I can't remember. Blue Suede Shoes or something. It's just funny singing out of harmony, just arguing amongst each other. So Spinal Tap has a small little cemetery scene. Bear Island, which does have a DVD release, but it's very limited and super hard to get a hold of, and extremely expensive too. But this is a VHS copy that I have because I had it on VHS, and stars Donald Sutherland and Lloyd Bridges, and they're going to the actual place where the U-boat. A U-boat base was located on Bear Island, which is a real place, and they really did have a U-boat base there. So anyways, it's a murder mystery movie. But as they're going to the island, you see a small cemetery on top of, as the boat's traveling by on the island itself, where the crews and everything of the U-boat base would bury their dead. So, got a cemetery scene in Bear Island. The butterfly effect. Oof, you got where he goes back, Ashton Kutcher goes back and screws up the timeline again, and ends up, for some reason, something gets done, and Amy Smart's character, I know what happens. Never mind, I'm not going to talk about it just in case people haven't seen it. But anyways, Amy Smart's character kills herself, and they end up showing the funeral and everything like that, and so they show the cemetery, and they spent a little bit of time at the cemetery. So you got a cemetery and the butterfly effect. Come on, The Crow. Jesus. I can't even count how many times, just like Spawn. How many times were there at a cemetery? The movies practically revolve around cemeteries. The Departed. Near the end of the movie, there is a funeral given to a fallen officer that has full honors. Anyways, I'm not going to go into that because anybody that hasn't seen The Departed, you really should. Great flick. It's based on the Japanese Infernal Affairs. Yeah, that is so awesome. In fact, it's a trilogy. It's Infernal Affairs trilogy. That's great. Maybe we'll show that sometime. Okay, then we have, I couldn't believe it. I was actually able to get a James Bond in this one. I could have done it for Aircraft. And you know what? I could have done it for Bar too. God, I'm going to try to see for the rest of these challenges if I can squeak in somehow a James Bond, since I love James Bond so much. Anyways, so we have Live and Let Die. Takes place in the graveyard or cemetery when they bring this guy up. Yep. They're doing their old voodoo ritual and stuff like that. They take the hat, the little case thing, put it on the ground, and whoop, he comes up out of the ground and fits right into the hat. Awesome movie. Daredevil, where Elektra's father is killed. So they have the funeral scene at the cemetery where Elektra is there for her father. Then, of course, the last one for the background is The Rock. Almost the whole entire opening credits. God, I can't get my head straight. During the opening credits is nothing but a funeral scene. And it shows a cemetery. It looks kind of like Arlington Cemetery, but I'm not 100% sure if that's where it was. I'll have to watch it again and see if that's where it was filmed. But anyways, there you go. My explanation and short tour of the background. The two movies that I actually are going to pick, though, my runner-up is actually a newer one. Just came out, and I'm so happy to see. I mean, this really excited me because it reminded me so much of my childhood growing up. It's kind of going to show how things are. But then again, you guys that have seen my drive-in videos and stuff like that kind of know, I've been around for a little bit. Anyways, it's Super 8. There is quite a few times we have the cemetery scene where the young boy and the kids are going back to the cemetery. They're filming a zombie movie, all kinds of different stuff, and plus the main character's mom. He goes to visit his mom at her gravesite. So you got cemetery shots in the movie. But the main movie that I'm going to pick is because one scene stands out to me and it cracks me the hell up. That is The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Yes, there is a huge cemetery scene in this one. It's where Vince Neil, lead singer of Motley Crue, he portrays a singer calling himself Bobby Black. Well, Bobby Black ends up dying, and there's this big, huge funeral for him with this over-the-top glass friggin' coffin. It looks like a Tylenol capsule or something. He's inside of it, getting airlifted all over the place. And there's so many people at the funeral that, you got ticket scalpers, you got all kinds of stuff, craziness going on. And, they go to the funeral, and it's at the cemetery, and people are desecrating the graves, and sex is taking place. It's hilarious. But anyways, it's this huge, over-the-top funeral at a cemetery. So, there you go. My ultimate pick for today, Andrew Dice Clay's The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, for the Alphabet of Awesome Movies, Part 2, letter C, word cemetery, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Thank you, Dyslexic Nick, for day 1 and doing the Alphabet of Awesome Movies. Thank you, Tattooed Doorman, for the second round, and his pick bar. Sorry, Dyslexic Nick's pick was aircraft. Tattooed Doorman picked bar. And thank you, the infamous Ill Will, for today's letter C and the word cemetery. Next week we have Traffic Cone Man, who's going to bring us the letter D and that word. Until then, take care, everyone, and have a great week.
Hey, no way, you're getting out alive today.